What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right, so before I get into this video, I want to give a shout out to the brother Zach Hankins for the $10 donation via the Cash App. Much respect to you for showing love once again to Too Raw for TV. And he had a very interesting question. He asked me, does Caitlyn Clark have to win a championship to solidify her greatness as a basketball player? Does she have to win a championship? Look, before I get into my opinion on that, Caitlyn Clark has individually, even though it's just a 2-game sample size, but in the first 2 games this season, the Fever are 1-1, but they're projected to be probably one of the, with the acquisitions they've had, they're probably going to be a top 5 team as far as the threshold in the WNBA. At least they're projected to be that. They're 1-1. But Caitlyn Clark is having a much better start to her sophomore year than she did her rookie year. Now, she struggled at the beginning of her rookie year. At one point, she was averaging an absurd 7.5 turnovers. Her shooting percentages were awful. Her play was real spotty. And I erroneously, and I admit, I said she was on the path to being a bust, which is a horrible take on my part. I admit it. She won Rookie of the Year. She was on the All-NBA first team. She was an All-Star, All-Rookie team. She was the assist leader. And she appears to be, barring injury, on her way to leading the league in assists again. Last year, she averaged 19.2 points, 5.7 points, 8.4 rebounds, 1.3 steals. She shot 41.7% from the floor, 34.4% from three-point range, which is actually up from the earlier part of the year because I distinctly remember saying she was shooting 31% from 3 at one point. So she came on like gangbusters toward the end of the season, and as did the team. As her level of play went up, so did the team's performance. And she shot 90.6% from the line. This year, 23.5 points, 7.5 rebounds, 10 assists, 2 steals per game, 2 blocks per game. Now I suspect that the blocks are going to go down a little bit, and the rebounds are going to go down a little bit, but those are some solid numbers. She's shooting 45.5% from the floor, which is up from last year, and a ridiculous 47.4% from three-point range. I suspect it's going to go down a little bit, but I think she's going to perform better than she did last year as far as her overall play. It's going to be more consistent as she gets used to the WNBA professional game. Plus, I've heard that she's put on something like 15 pounds of muscle, or at least 15 pounds, most of it muscle. Her arms are bigger. She's stronger. That's why I thought it was such poppycock when it had all these Caitlyn Clark fans saying, well, how can Caitlyn Clark push down Angel Reese? Do you know how big Angel Reese and Caitlyn Clark are? Angel Reese is 6'3". I don't know, maybe I guess her to be, from looking at her, maybe 160 pounds. I don't know. I'm not very good at guesstimating women's weight, but she's a big girl, but she's not a big hulking human being. Caitlyn Clark is 6 feet tall. They act like Caitlyn Clark. Caitlyn Clark is like 5'5". Caitlyn Clark is 6 feet tall, and she's gotten stronger. Like I said, she's put on 15 pounds because she had to get stronger. Last year, they're pushing her around a lot. And this year, she's going to start dishing it out, right? Which is how I like it. It's just that some fans are just putting this, they're not real basketball fans, and they're looking at the basketball through the lens of some insidious crap. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to call that out continuously. But I'm going to give Caitlyn Clark her props because I think she's going to go down as one of the great players. Now, as far as her winning a championship, I don't think she has to win a championship to be a great basketball player. Okay, me personally. If you're saying, will she be great without winning a ring? Absolutely. Now, I mean, you just can look at her impact on the NBA. Excuse me, the WNBA. Her impact on WNBA, you can kind of akin what she has done for the league as sort of like what Magic and Bird did. Although I know people like to put Angel Reese into it, you have to. Because even if you think Angel Reese is an inferior player, the rivalry between Angel Reese and Caitlyn Clark in college is what helped to bring in this additional fan base. So whether you like Angel Reese or not, she's part of it. So it's akin to Magic and Bird in so many different ways. But look, if you're trying to say she's going to be the GOAT, the greatest WNBA player of all time, well, then you kind of have to look at championships a little, I mean, it's just, especially with basketball, because a great player can affect the game much more directly in basketball than in football or in baseball. One individual great player is not going to elevate an average team to a championship in baseball. It takes a squad. A great player can affect the game offensively on the margins by having a good game, but overall, you need a great bullpen. You need a great fielding, good to great hitting. You need all of that. Football, a player can affect the game a little bit more, but not the way that they can in basketball. So, yeah, she's going to need help, and she's getting it, obviously. But, yeah, if you want to call yourself the greatest WNBA player of all time, when I think of all the other greats, and I'm still educating myself on WNBA because there's so many years I wasn't following it, so I got to educate myself further. But when I think of all of the greats, Cynthia Cooper comes to mind. And then there's others, right? Tina Thompson. When I think of all the greats, they have championships. So yes, she needs to meet, in my opinion, probably multiple championships. Because when I think of the greatest WNBA players, I think of Cynthia Cooper. I think of what's her name? The one that just recently retired, Diana Taurasi. I think of Jesus Christ, man. Struggling with names here. I have the faces in my head, but I just can't think of the names. The one whose brother played in the NBA, she's an analyst on TNT now. Candace Parker. I think of these ladies, and they all have championships, if I'm not mistaken. Some of them multiple champions. I think Cynthia Cooper has 4. So, yeah, if you want to be considered on that level, then she has to win some she has to get some hardware. Absolutely. Now I understand there's going to be some fans who are going to make excuses and talk about she didn't have help, or if things don't go right, well, they're going to talk about her stats and all of that. And yeah, that's going to put her up there. But to me, you got to win championships. You want to be considered the best ever. You do. We don't make those exceptions for Charles Barkley. We don't make those exceptions for the Elgin Baylors or the Jerry Westes. You know, I could try to make excuses for Jerry West being 1-8 in the finals, but at the end of the day, he's 1-8 in the NBA finals. So yeah, Caitlin Clark's going to go down as a great player, but if she wants to be considered the GOAT of the WNBA, I think she has to win the championship, probably more than one. But anyway, that's just my opinion. At least tell me what you guys think.